All right, Rob Tepper here, and I'm going to demonstrate how, once I've created an email message, how to queue it up in all 5 different autoresponders that I am currently using. And today is October 28th, 2014. And the plan is by the end of the year we'll put all of these into one autoresponder, but for now we have them in 5. So you'll have all of the login information, and I'm going to go from square one where I log into all the different autoresponders and show you exactly how I do it. But once you have access to all of the login information, which I keep in my robo form, then logging in is the first step, and I just log into all 5 of them at the same time, and that way I'll show you how I do it. I just go back and forth between the two. So I've got 2 GetResponse accounts and 2 GVO accounts, and so for GVO and GetResponse I actually go to 2 different browsers so that I can open both of my GVO and GetResponse simultaneously. So there's my second GVO, and over here we'll have our second GetResponse. Go back to the other screen. I've got AWeber, I'm logged in. I've got GetResponse, I'm going to log in now into account 1. And so account 1 is that one, and you'll have all of that login information, of course. And I'm going to log into GVO account 1. So logging in, of course, is the first step. Then I go through and we'll put all of the subject lines in at one time, which makes it fairly quick. And then, let's see, when it gives you this message where please confirm your email, just proceed to the member area. We'll go to our other browser, we'll log into our GetResponse account number 2. And you can do these one at a time, but you'll see when I show you how I do this why it's best just to do them all at one time. Here's a second GVO account, because once you copy your subject line you can just paste it into all of them. Once you copy your body you can paste it into all of them. GVO a little bit doesn't paste quite so. Oh, what happened there? I don't think I changed that password. Oh, I see, now I have to put in that code down under it. So you won't have to worry too much about this. We'll fill, and then we'll put in the code SNKWPS. Okay, so now I got it right. We'll proceed to the member area, and we don't need to save it. We already got it saved. So now we're logged into GVO, we're logged into this GetResponse, we're logged into this GVO, we're logged into this GetResponse, and we're logged into this AWeber. Alright, so now on AWeber we want to work in this build list 1 list. There's actually over 65 lists, but we want to be working in the build list 1, and we're always working in the broadcast messages area. And I'll always start in all of these autoresponders. I will start with the most recently sent message, unless I tell you to do otherwise. That is the way to go, because you know that the most recently sent has all of the most current information and updates in it. So we sent this out on yesterday morning, so we're going to copy this, and while it's copying, on GetResponse we go into My Newsletters and we choose the most recent one that was sent and we copy it. So that's this one. So we're going to go Action, Reuse, In GVO, we scroll down the side here. Hopefully this won't confuse you, but if you just follow along, what's going on? We want to go into autoresponder, which is right down here. Click on autoresponder, and in account 1 we have a bunch of different campaigns. In account 2 we only have one campaign. Same thing with GetResponse. In account 1 we have many campaigns. Account 2 we just have one. So we're going to go again into the broadcast, just like we did on the AWeber account, and we're going to look at the most recently sent broadcast, which is this one, and we're going to copy it. Okay, so now we've got AWeber, GetResponse, GVO on one browser, and we'll do the same thing for GetResponse on the other browser. Go to My Newsletters, and we're going to reuse the most current newsletter. We go to Pure Leverage, which is another name for GVO, and on this one we're going to go to Marketing Suite. It's a little bit different layout. Autoresponder, and on this we only have this one campaign, 5-minute mogul, and from here we're going to choose Messages, Broadcast, and we're going to choose Most Recent Sent Broadcast, which is this one. And we're going to click on there. Okay, so now all 5 autoresponders are kind of in the same status. They're all ready for the message to be input. Okay, so now every day you'll have a link for the message. This is called email message for 10/28/14. So I'm setting this up right now. So I'm going to copy this, assume that it is perfect. You don't have to read it because I've already spent time getting it right. And now we're going to paste that into the subject. It's very similar in this case to the subject that was previously there, but it is slightly different. And now we're going to go to GVO, do the same thing there. And now we're going to go to the other autoresponder, paste, paste. Now we're going to go to GVO, and we're going to paste there. And that's it. Now we're going to go back to the message that you're working from, and you're going to go at the beginning and scroll down to the end. In this case there's a PS, and you don't have to go further than that, because this where it says check out my professional profile, that's already there on the most recent message. So we're just going to add in, we're going to replace what's there up to that point. So we're going to select all of that and then copy it, and then we're going to go into AWeber, and we're going to go from the very beginning down to the PS, and we're going to do paste. Okay, so this is the new message. Go here to register now. Never before seen live training. If you go back, you'll see this is the new message. Okay, so it's as easy as that. Now, once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to queue it up. In this case, it's exactly the time that I want to send it out, so I don't need to queue it up. But I will always tell you what time to queue it up for. And in this case, we're going to send it out right now. For messages in AWeber, I do share in my social media. You don't need to worry about changing any of this. And go to next. And we're going to use the same lists because the message, remember the last message that we sent out was also about this event. And so we're going to send this out right now. So it's as easy as that, but you can see it does take a little bit of time. Once it's done, it's ready to be sent. Maybe for the first few, you should get them scheduled and then have me review until we're confident that you're comfortable and everything is going smoothly. So I just press the send button, so this AWeber is now sending right here, sent live training. This for get response, we go to the next step after we change the subject line in those two places, very top. And it brings up a screen like this, but if you click on Show WYSIWYG, that's what you see is what you get. You do the same thing. You go to the first line, and you go just to the end of the PS, select it all, and paste. Now this one doesn't look quite so beautiful. Looks like there's extra spaces, so I'm going to delete the extra. Oh, can't delete that. Yeah, so this is one thing, is that the formatting doesn't always turn out the way that it is on the original. So I'm deleting these automatic spaces. I'm not even sure that it's necessary to do this, but basically deleting the lines that are in there and replacing them with single line. So it's right up here. It definitely looks bigger, so delete that, and then shift return, make it a single line, and that's it. And then once you get this all set up, these links are, in this case, they're the same, but we'll go over something in a future training where we might be having customized links from each autoresponder so we can tell which autoresponder they came from. But don't worry about that now. This is all good, and so we'll go to the next. Actually, what I want to do now is undo that. And since I didn't like the spacing before and I had to fix it for get response, now I know that this get response is good for, this spacing is good for get response. So I'm going to copy from here and I'm going to use that instead of the original document. I know that that'll work well in get response. Now here we want to send to all campaigns in get response, and the next step here is where we would set when we're going to send it. If we're not going to send it now, you're going to schedule here. But in this case, I'm going to send this right now, so I'll click on the send button, and it will congratulate me. Okay, so now that one's done. So now that I know that the message is formatted for get response, let's go to the other get response, and I'm not sure that it'll look exactly the same way in GVO, so we'll do the get response first. Again, once you show it, you're going to show WYSIWYG. Once you got WYSIWYG, we're going to go to the very beginning, and then go to the end of the PS, and then paste. And there we go. So that spacing looks better. It looks like it did in the original, right? And so now we're going to go to the next step. It's also good to make sure that the links work. I know that these links work, but it would be good in the process before things get finalized that you're confident that the links work. So here we've only got one campaign. We're going to send to all subscribers, and the next step will be to check your subject line, if we were using a template, who the recipients are, and here again we can schedule, but we're just going to go ahead and send it. And are we done with 3? Should say well done. There we go. Well done. Okay, so now we've just got the pure leverage to go, and GVO pure leverage is the same thing. So this one's a little different because in GVO we actually need to put in a text version of the message as well. But let's do this first. We're going to select, and we're going to, oops. Let's do that again. Select it all, and paste the new one. And yeah, see, this happens for some reason. So now select it all, and we're going to make sure that this is a font of Arial and a font size of 14. And now it looks like we've got the spacing issue here. So that's kind of weird. And that's why it's good to have help doing this, because these things, you might even have a better way that doesn't ever present these issues. But for some reason here, spacing was an issue. So now we're getting it nice and pretty for get response. I mean for GVO. And once it's nice for GVO, then we'll be able to put it into the other GVO. So it's worth spending a minute to do it. Okay, so I think we've got all the spacing right except for that. And let's see, I had highlighted some things in the original that are no longer highlighted, so that's a little bit odd. I had this Never Before Seen training, and then I had as my subscriber, you're invited to attend for free, so we lost that formatting. So let's put that back in, make that bold, and Never Before Seen training, make that bold, and we'll also make it yellow like it was. Let's see, is there anything else in here? No, just that one bold and that one yellow, and then my name also being bold. And this is another problem. All of this is a link, so we want to delete the link. Yeah, GVO does some weird things. So let's make this bold, and let's make this a link. So just click on link, make it a link. And say yes, we want to put the HTTP on the front of it. Let's make this bold. And the original is bold, so maybe if we had gone back and just copied and pasted the original in, it would have been, but you want to make sure that it looks like the original when you're done. And in this case, I needed to make several edits to do that. Okay, but now, having done all of this work, this format should work very well in the other GVO. So let's copy it. And we'll go to the other GVO. Paste. Let's see. There we've got all the spacing. Looks good. Okay. Now the only thing we have to do is we have to do the text version of it. And the text version of it, because the links are embedded, we're going to have to fix those. So I'll show you how to do that. Actually, here's the link right here, so we can just leave that link in. So we're gonna actually the link is in the PS as well, right? Yeah. So we'll just leave that one link so that we've got access to it. And so we're gonna paste that whole thing there. And now when you say claim your free spot, we're going to have to put in the same code that's right here. There's multiple ways to do this, but for now I'm showing you, let's see, it's referenced a couple places here. It's referenced at the top, and it's at the bottom, and then in the PS. So at the very top, we've got go here to register right now. So we're going to have to change that because we have to put the link in and So we'll get rid of that. Normally, I'll make the text version for you as well, so you won't have to worry about this. But this is maybe the most confusing part, because not only is it text, but then this URL, the way that you create it is by basically clicking on the URL. Like here, I'll do it with robtepper.com. So I do Command C or Control C in Word. Then you put in Insert Link. So you put it up there, and then click on Go, and you see what happens is it inserts all the rest of this. So it's really just the link, but then the rest gets inserted automatically. And now that we've got all that, that's exactly the same we want to use on the other GVO. So let's go ahead and grab that. A little bit cumbersome, but I'm doing this all on the laptop with a small screen. Normally I would be doing it on a desktop with a big screen or multiple screens. So there it is. I'll paste. So now we've got the whole thing there. And so now it's in both places. And here, again, we're sending it out now. So this is already in the past. We're going to have to say 1530. Because when we started creating it was 1515. All the campaigns are selected. The subject is right. We've got both the HTML and text version ready to go. So I think we're good. We'll go here. We'll do the same thing. We'll change the time from 1515 to 1530, which is exactly what time it is right now here in San Diego. We've got the subject. We've got both the text and the HTML version ready to go. So we're going to click on Add. Now when you do that, we're back on the other GVO. See, it's here, and it's pending, and it's got the time, but it's not going to send until you click on this queue. So we're going to queue it to send. And we'll do the same thing with the other one, and then we will be done. So you see it's in the pending, and it's set for 1530, but it's not going to send until we click on queue. And then we'll go in the queue. And you see right now it's sending. If we go back to the other one, you see the same thing. It's sending. And we're done. Okay, I hope that wasn't too confusing. I can do it in other format, but what I wanted to do is show you the most efficient way, where you start out with a message. You're always going to have this message, and if the link is not embedded like it is here, then you should be able to just copy and paste it even into the text version. In this case, the difference between the HTML and the text version is that these links are embedded, so we had to change the words slightly when we're not embedding them. So I will do that for you when I'm creating text versions that don't have the link spelled out like that, at least at the beginning. And I hope this was helpful. This is Rob Tepper, and I look forward to working closely with you and having a lot of success sending out these email campaigns. Thanks a lot. Over and out.